Hello my crafty friends, it's Arva. Welcome back to my channel. I am here to show what I created for a collaboration I'm participating in with Ebony, who is sharing more here on YouTube and on Instagram. We are going to be posting on the second Thursday of each month under the hashtag 3D Thursday. I'm going to try to post on more than just the second Thursdays, but Ebony and I together will post on the second Thursday at around 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time under the hashtag 3D Thursday. We were just talking and thinking about, there's not a lot of things that we do as crafters for Thursday specifically. So just thought that was a good idea. So here we are. We hope that you'll join us on this journey, and we'll show your creations here on YouTube and on Instagram with the hashtag. So for this month, here are some of the items that I used for my project. I used just the foliage here from this Recollections die set that I picked up from Michael's quite some time ago. I used some of these halfback pearls that I picked up from Jen and her D-stash. Love the different colors. And recently I picked up this Susan's Garden Ultimate Toolkit. It is by Spellbinders and is designed by Susan Tierney Coburn. She is a flower designer on the Spellbinders team, and she creates phenomenal flowers. And this kit has so many nice things for you to be able to create those flowers. And she does have tutorials on how to use these tools to get the flowers that she's created. So this has come in handy because I'm not the best flower maker, but having the right tools certainly help. I'll leave a link in the description box to Amazon where you can pick that up. I also used this paper pad from Michael's. It's a Recollections pad, former Hot Buy. This was Southern Blues. You'll also see in my Crack the Vault video that I used that at that time as well. I've already taped that video, recorded that video, so I don't want anybody to think that I didn't wait 6 months. I used that in that video first, and since I already had it out, decided to use it for this video as well. And then I also used this Recollections pad. I think this was from 2021, and it is Into the Garden. I like these paper pads because you have matching solid colors to go along with the designer paper. So this is what I created. This is a Silhouette Studio file, and it is designed by Hearthstone, and it is a purse-shaped box, and when you open it here, just lifts up, there is a hat-shaped easel card on the inside. And so then it lifts like this, and that's the way it stands. I absolutely love these files that they have that have the cards with the matching boxes or envelopes. I really like these a lot, so I decided to do this for my first 3D project. Thought it was a nice Easter card. You can stamp a message on the back if you choose to, or you can just leave it with the Happy Easter that you have up here on the front. Uh-oh, my butterfly came off. I was looking like, where is that big blob of glue here? Well, I had a butterfly there, so I'll have to fix that, but that's the way it looked. All right. Anyway, so this is my project, and it's got a fair amount of room in here. You could actually use it to send treats. I really like how it has the spots to have the designer paper coming up the side. I like the design of it overall. It does come with a tag also that you can use to put on the side of your box. I'm not sure if I'll use that, but these are some of the flowers that I created. These are also a Silhouette design file. I'll leave all that information in the description box, but I definitely think that my flowers look a lot better after using those tools. And here is a look at the back, very much the same as the front. And I just love the way that this came together. Now, with the Hearthstone files, one of the things that I've found is that it's kind of hard to find video tutorials on how to create some of their projects. So if you stay tuned, I'll show you how I put this together. Okay, I'm back with the pieces for the easel card portion. So we'll start with the top of the hat. Now, I've taken the tape off. I normally use tape and glue because it makes it a little easier to secure when you're working with an object like this. To try to get as close to the score line without going over as possible, because if you go over, you will wind up having a little gap at the top, and we don't want a gap. So just line this up. Oops, sorry. I do also add a little wet glue so that if I have any issues, I've got a little bit of wiggle room, a little extra time in getting my pieces together there. So here we are. I'm trying to go right up to the top, and I get that first one down first. Then I go to the next one and right down like that. And I will show that one more time, and then I will fast forward through the rest. I know you don't want to just see me gluing paper. That's no fun, right? But I did think that those tips were helpful, especially for someone that may be a beginner. Some of these things are things I wish that I knew. It is much harder to see these score lines when you use such a busy paper. So you do want to be really mindful. Getting right up to the score line and not going over. And let me also mention that for these score lines, they are all mountain folds from the top all the way down, and then the bottom one is a valley fold. Even the side ones are mountain fold. So I'll be right back after I finish putting this together. Okay, I'm back. I've got it together. And now we're going to get the piece that has a hexagon cut out from the middle. And this is what the brim of the hat, so it's going to sit right there. I'm just going to go around and just add a little glue. You can tell I need to fill my glue bottle again or get some more one. So just adding glue to all of the tabs here. And then I like to just sit it down on my table and then just add that right over. Push it down. And then take my bone folder and I just go around and just make sure that that is adhered really well. Sorry about that pause, guys. You know, I'm not used to doing this part of the video. So, all right, now we have this part done. Next comes the rim, the trim of it. So I cut this in the purple paper that was in the paper pack. And there are 3 score lines in this, and they are just alike. And it goes on like that. And then it matches up on the other side. So again, I didn't add tape to this one. I just used my liquid adhesive. I am using the Nouveau Deluxe adhesive. I normally use either this or art glitter glue. No rhyme or reason as to why I use which one. But I will show you the other glue that I use in just a little bit when we get into the construction of the card. So once again, put it on. Use my bone folder to just make sure this is adhered really, really well. Don't want to give anybody a card and the pieces are coming up. And I'm just going to match that up. And once again, and I do try to make sure that it's flush against the brim of the hat. So there's that. Now, this is the base of my card. I have a score line here, which is the center, And then we have the easel portion. So it's just scored right in half. I did modify the file from a little, the first one I cut directly exactly the way that they designed it, which would have a little bit of the card base peeking through at the bottom. After I put it together, I didn't really care for that look as much, so I decided to make the card, the hat, fit right across the bottom so that you wouldn't see any of the card peeking through. So this is the edge of the brim. And I think it's pretty either way, but I really wanted to try it this way. And it's very easy file to manipulate, so why not, right? And that's the benefit of being able to use a SVG, because you can change it the way that you want as far as size and everything. And this is the size that it comes in as. So I did not change the size to make it bigger or smaller. And let's see. What does it measure at? It's about 5 by 5 is the size of the card. Now another change that I made was on the back of this, when you put this down, I did not like that the back was unfinished. So I decided that I would create a piece. Where did my piece disappear to here? I created a piece that I would be able to put on the back here, and that would cover that up. That was really important to me because I didn't want when somebody looked at the card, it just looked so unfinished in the back. So to give this just a little bit more stability, because it's not a true cardstock, this was from that paper pad. It's thicker than scrapbook paper, but it's just not as thick as cardstock. But anyway, this is Beacon 3-in-1 glue. It is a solvent-based glue, so it won't warp your paper or anything of the sort, but it does add some strength. Some people actually call it a construction glue because it does add some strength to your project. And so I'm just going to add to this outside here. Match these up. Turn it over, and then again, I'm just going to press down so that I can make sure that it's adhered really well. If this glue gets thick, another little tip, this glue gets thick, you can add pure acetone to it, and it will not compromise the product, but it will thin it out so that it comes back out better. So now I'm going to work on the bottom part of the card. And I did manipulate this a little bit as well. I cut the piece here at the top just so that it would fit where the fold of the card was. But the way they had it designed, I just wasn't too happy with it. So I changed it just a little bit. This is the offset piece for the inside of the card here. So let's go ahead and add that in. And to just strengthen my card base, I'm going to try to use the Beacon glue for most of this part. So it's just an offset piece. Sits in nicely like that. Okay. Now, because that nozzle is so big, I'm going to use the Nuvo glue for this part. line those up. I line that right up to that score line. You see it fits just perfectly. I really like how these files are so easy to manipulate. So here we have that. And now this is another part of the file that was offset for this piece. And it layers right in just like so. Okay. Now this piece I went ahead and put together before. This file does cut this Happy Easter and this flower. I think this is really self-explanatory, so I didn't want to waste your time when trying to put that together. And it just sits right there, right up against the rim of the bottom. And I did cut the base. It recommends in the file that you cut this 2 times because this is going to be your stopper for the easel part. And so I did cut this 2 times out of the 80-pound cardstock that I used. And it lines up just like that. Also, guys, just because I knew that sometimes when you just can't get that score line lined up perfectly, the other one had a little bigger gap. This one not as much, but I did also cut a little 1/2-inch circle, and that was to just cover the top here, just in case I need it. And I'm going to put it on just because we already have it, so why not? And sometimes, you know, it reminded me of a button. You know, sometimes you see the hats and it looks like it's got a little button. Now, please don't make the same mistake I just did, because I should have done that before I put the bottom on. Now, thank goodness it popped back up, but make sure you put that on prior to covering up your back, because that's how you are going to make sure that the glue it here as well. So now, with this folded, I'm going to figure out where I want the front to be, what I want on the front. And so, guess we'll go with this. It's not going to really matter much since it's such a busy paper that I chose. But I'm just going to line that right up. And I'm just going to put glue on this half of the base. And I do think that it makes it much easier to adhere, since the card is now closed off in the back, as opposed to having that opening that originally would have been there. And then it just lines up like so. Turn it over. Once again, just use my bone folder to spread that glue out and make sure it's adhered really well. And then that's the card. So it sits like that. I think that is so precious, so pretty. And I put a little, burnish that score line a little better so that it makes sure that it folds the way it's supposed to. And then there's that. So come back in a little bit and I'll show you that all decorated up. Okay, so now we're going to put together the box. I have put some pieces together if there was duplicates, things that we're going to do again just to save on time. So this is the bottom of the box. And so you have a tab here, and these are all mountain fold. So I'm going to remove a piece of tape here, the liner, add a little bit of glue. And again, I want to get this as close to the score line without going over as possible. Let's burnish that down. Okay, so we'll set that aside and let that dry. Now this particular box did come with some decorative straps up the front. I chose not to use the straps, so even though I chose not to use the straps, what I found with the first one is I had forgotten that there's a hole here at the top. And you definitely want to pay attention to that in the file if you decide not to use the straps, because that's where the brad is going to go for your closure. Also, when you're adding these decorative pieces on here, there's two that have holes. You want to pay attention and pull those out because they will also be used here for brads. So you want to pay attention to those things. All right. I go back in again with the Beacon 3-in-1 so that I can add as much weight to this as I can. I want it to be nice and strong. Okay, then I'm going to line this one up right on top, being careful to make sure to match the hole up. Also, the back doesn't have that hole, so that's how you're able to tell which one is the front and which one is the back. Okay. Now, as you can tell, when I deleted the straps from the file, I forgot to leave the hole in for the base. It's no problem. I'll just take my pokey tool and add my little hole back. Simple enough. So then I'm going to come here and add the trim. And I've been thinking I would have used double-sided adhesive here so I wouldn't run the risk of getting glue marks on this metallic cardstock, but I'll remember that for next time. Okay, being extra careful here. I don't want to get glue to seep out. Right on. Okay, so now we have, this is the closure piece. They recommend that you cut 2 to 4 of the bottom and then a few of the top to stack it up. I cut 2 of the bottom out of the 80-pound and I cut 4 from the sheet that I used from the paper pad. You just put that in and attach it like so. You do not want to attach this very tightly. All right. Now we're going to work on putting our box together. Okay, so I'm going to add some glue to the bottom piece. This is the bottom of the box. And I'm going to, again, try to line this up so that it's lined up nicely, but I do not want to go over that score line. As close to it as I can without going over. Right. Again, you can see very lightly where the pieces of the box should line up. So we're just going around. And again, you don't want to go over your score lines. Okay. This is why I add the wet adhesive so that I can have a little bit of room to move it about the way that I need to. And I just burnish that down to the other side. And do the same thing. for the back of the box, this piece here, I sandwiched in between the base and my decorative piece. I did not want it to be on the inside, and because I felt like it wouldn't be as secure. So that's what I did. And then I cut this as my trim. That is a part of the file. So I'll be right back after I've added this on. Okay, so we're back. Now we're going to work on the bottom of the box. The bottom did have this decorative layer. I thought that was really nice that it made it a nice cohesive looking project, since you had the decorative paper all over the front, the back, and the sides. And then in the file they have these little pieces. So they recommend that you cut 4 or 5 out per foot to add here. And it just makes your bag stand up just a little bit. I cut 4 of the 80-pound cardstock for each side, and then 1 in the gold accent. And this is Michael's Recollections cardstock, the gold metallic is. And then they just fit right in nicely like so. So there's our box all nice and finished. So now we're going to work on the strap. So I've already added the decorative layer to the strap, and I have folded the ends down, and you can tell where they go because they match up, because this is where your brads are going to go. So I did take my bone folder and just put a small curve in it. Didn't want anything too major. So before I go do it, I'm going to make sure I go ahead and fold these tabs down. So I cut one of these in the 80-pound cardstock and then one in the metallic. So just going to feed this through. I take my brad and just put it right in the hole here. Feed it through, and then just open up the back. Do the same thing on the other side. And I got these small brads from Hobby Lobby. So then, as you can tell, there's a hole here in the trim. So this is where it attaches to the box. So we're just going to add it right through here. Make sure your tab is folded down. You could glue it if you want to. And then just going to open that brad up. I didn't want anybody to be able to see the brads from the outside. And then we're going to do it on the other side. And there's our little box together. And then it just slides right under, like so. And that's the finished closure for our box. So now I'm going to decorate it, and I will come back and show you the finished project. Okay, I'm back with the box and the card decorated. You know, I'm kind of simple with my decorations, but nonetheless, I decorated it very similar to the first one. So I just added some of my roses that I created in colors that went with the paper. I added another piece of the foliage and then one of the acrylic butterflies. And then here I added one of the acrylic butterflies, 3 of my roses, the foliage, and then 3 of those flat back pearls. I think this came together so nicely, guys. Now, something else that I thought about, I did cut a second piece that would go on the back. So if I decided that I wanted to put my message here, I could stamp a message, write it, whatever you want to do, and then just use that on the back if that's what you'd like. So the reason I did not attach those to the back of mine is because one of these is going to be given away to one of my wonderful, supportive subscribers. So I'm so grateful for making it to 300 subscribers. I certainly am hoping to post more and to gain more. So one of my subscribers will win whichever one of these box cards they would like. So just leave me a comment down below. Doesn't have to say anything specific. Just leave a comment and let me know that you're interested. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this video today. I, of course, am fairly new to trying to put something together on camera like this, but it's a learning process. I'll get there. Nonetheless, this is it for today, guys. Please go check out Ebony and see what she created for you today. And please upload on Thursdays to #3D Thursday. I will see you guys later. Take care and have a blessed day. Bye.